2 billion of his followers span the globe in every town, village, and hamlet. Yet very few understand his message. In this 26-part series, we look at the practical meanings behind his simple messaging and how they shape belief. Join us now for episode 1, The Angry Side of Love. A man once told me that Jesus of Nazareth was a made-up figure, like Santa Claus, who actually never existed. I responded by saying, then why over 2,000 years later do more people know his name than they do yours? This figure has caused many peace and many others to hate him for believing that people are under mass hysteria for following him. Some in society face a conundrum. These people want to abolish his birthday, but yet wonder how to keep another mythical figure present day in a red suit. They end up getting bent out of shape for what is referred to as a mythical savior, while practically worshiping the man called Santa on his birthday. I believe distrust and animosity in this entity are not based upon him, but on the messengers that twist his message. It would seem that most modern day clergy condemns or push more people away from him than they bring people to him. But in his simplest of messages and his parables, I believe you will see how millions who don't have an attendance of organized religion have derived their sense of hope and forgiveness for the things that they could not let go. I would learn this firsthand myself back in the early 1990s. One fact I discovered when I used to counsel people for at least 2 decades was that you must be familiar with the people of faith in order to know that person better. For this reason, I set out to discover what I could learn differently about his message during his life other than what ministers and television evangelists convey about hell and damnation. I wanted to find proof of what he tried to convey to the average person minus a clergy in the pulpit. Surprisingly, I came away from that discovery with a broader mindset and enough information to fill 26 episodes of this series. In this first portion of 26-part series entitled The Angry Side of Love, I want to show where Jesus showed anger, but not in a manner or direction that will condemn the average person like a pulpit minister. The pulpit ministry in itself has a tendency of seeing people as dirty items, separate and apart from themselves. There is a belief in a Sunday after Sunday atonement of one's sins and misgivings in order to get to heaven. But here is where that method of conversation separates Jesus from the message. You see, in my entire study of Jesus, I cannot say that I found an instance where he either condemned a sinner or made them feel dirty or badmouthed them. On the other hand, I do find plenty of instances in which he braced his full anger against the clergy of his day who was teaching his followers the wrong message. The Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the high priests were daily targets of his wrath for leading those who tried to get to heaven astray. He always had a problem with them acting above those they served and seeing them as either unclean or flawed. This is evident in the following 4 passages I will give you concerning the angry side of love. In Matthew 23:27-28, Jesus confronted them by saying, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of dead men's bones and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness." In another passage, in Matthew 23:15, Jesus on another occasion says, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you travel land and sea to win one convert, and when he is won, you make him twice the son of hell that you are." Now you can see in this instance, Jesus is actually calling a leader of the faith a person who was already destined for hell, instead of the sinner who he chased after to convert. In another Matthew's passage, he says to a high priest, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give the tenth of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of law, justice and mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You blind guides, you strain out a gnat, but swallow a camel. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of a cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside also will be cleaned." Now, Matthew states that Jesus criticized them for taking the place of honor at banquets, for wearing ostentatious clothing, and for encouraging people to call them rabbi. But again, I say that Jesus never spoke to a common follower or sinner in this tone. As a society, we wince when we see a television or hometown minister preach to us only to be caught in a motel with a call girl. Jesus shows exactly what it's like to lead someone in love instead of someone in fear of going to hell or fearing themselves being dirty. It matters not whether you believe he existed or not. It matters not whether you believe he is the Son of God or not. His simple message to humanity that changed the face of religion from cold-hearted to a more humanistic approach cannot be disputed. Maybe if the messengers can learn to adapt to the original message giver, more people will be turning towards the faith instead of against it. We hope to see you again next time for part 2 in the series, How True Love Forgives Enemies.